Saw the second-ranked Dillon Wildcats handle their business last week in a game that we really thought would kind of come down to the wire in terms of how Loris and the Cats would do, but Dillon does what they always do. They win football games. They did it last week to Loris. They came on strong in the second half to pull away in that one to put themselves in position to win yet another region championship. Tonight, they had Aynor in town, another opportunity to kind of put maybe another roadblock, so to speak, in the rearview mirror. But then again, the Blue Jackets knew too, if they could knock off the Cats, they would be right there in the mix too to win the region for the first time in, 3 years?
Yeah, I'm not in the locker room, but I think it's safe to say that Aynor marks this game down.
Oh, yeah, everybody in that region does. But Aynor does for what? Because they beat them a couple of years ago.
Yep. And
when they beat them, they ended up winning that region, and they had a fantastic season. So, everything always goes through Dillon. It's been that way for, decades. And it doesn't really change, and it hasn't changed this year.
Especially when Dillon just goes through opponents.
They do, and they did that last week to Loris, and tonight it was Aynor's opportunity, and what would Dillon do? And we're going to find out, because Dillon Memorial is always packed, and tonight was no exception as these two met yet again. As we go to Dillon and show you the cheerleaders having themselves a good time. It was already 34-0, Andrew, in this one when Bling would add some more to the bling, so to speak. Yep, walks it in. Dillon, again, just putting on a show as they would extend their lead, flexing the muscle. Just before half, Donzel offered. Yeah, would help with the keeper, and he would help with the first opportunity to shut it out, and he does with the interception. And that right there would put the Cats up 41-0 at the break. The shutout still intact.
Doesn't go well when Aynor has to throw the ball.
Exactly. We jump fourth quarter. Aynor finally breaks through. Wyatt Cody, handoff, showing some frustration as he runs over the Cats. And right into the end zone. Jackets put 6 on the board. That would be as close as they would get, because then Dillon goes to their backups. Dominique Felton said, "Coach, give me an opportunity and I will shine." He does. The freshman taking it in for another touchdown. This one was all Dillon as they cruise yet again for the second consecutive week in region play, 55-6. And the Cats are well on their way to another region championship. They have Manning up next. After that, we'll see what happens. Anything can happen on a Friday, but Dillon, as they were doing, flexing their muscle, they look as good as any Dillon team we've seen over the past 10 years.
And you would think, with the loss of Squire last season, they would have to try and rebuild their offense at all. Not a problem.
No.
Doesn't look like.
No. And I tell you, Oxendine seems to be getting more comfortable. Remember, he's only a true freshman at quarterback. He seems to be kind of figuring it out a little bit. It's always tough when you're a quarterback to go in that situation, especially in a complex system like Coach Roller's system is. He seems to be getting better each week, and that's scary for the rest of the state of South Carolina if he continues to grow the way he's going. He's got 3 more years after this one. So we'll see how it goes next week with Manning in town. As for Aynor, the Blue Jackets 0-2. They're not out of the playoffs, not by any stretch of the imagination, but they've got to win next week. They got to beat Walkable to get that first one, and then kind of build from there to see how the rest of the season goes, because, my friends, we only have 3 more weeks left in the regular season.